All right, so let's just imagine for a second you've got just 10 minutes to catch up on all the football action. Where do you even start?
Yeah.
Well, think of us as your cheat sheet because we're going deep on all those headlines. The ones that'll make you the most in-the-know fan around.
Right. And it's not just about knowing the scores. It's about, understanding what these stories really mean for the future of the beautiful game.
Exactly.
That's what we're here for.
Exactly. We're going to connect those dots for you. So first up, complete goal fest alert. Nottingham Forest. I mean, they just pulled off an absolute shocker. They crushed Brighton 7-0. 7 goals. Was this a fluke, or is Forest, finally finding their rhythm?
I mean, Brighton, they've got a reputation for their defense, so this scoreline, this is a real head-scratcher,
Yeah.
Might force them to, rethink some strategies, especially given how Forest's attack just kind of, overwhelmed them. Big question is, can they keep this momentum going? One big win doesn't equal a total turnaround.
Right. Okay, so maybe Brighton needs to do a little soul-searching.
Yeah.
But while they're doing that, Liverpool, they just keep rolling, adding another win to their streak with a 2-0 victory over Bournemouth.
Yeah.
And, of course, Mo Salah right there in the action, scoring yet again.
You know what's amazing about Liverpool under Klopp? It's that consistency. They've got this, relentless pressing style, incredibly disciplined, and it just wears teams down.
Yeah.
Take the Bournemouth match. They just shut down every attempt by Bournemouth to counterattack, cut off those passing lanes, won the ball back in midfield immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not luck. That's tactical genius.
Yeah, they really control the pace, don't they? It's like watching a well-oiled machine.
Absolutely.
Speaking of unexpected wins, Fulham snagged a surprise upset against Newcastle 2-1.
Oh, wow.
No one saw that coming.
That's the beauty of football, though, right? Any given day, any team can step up.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Fulham, they exposed a bit of a weakness in Newcastle's defense. Newcastle tends to push high up the pitch, and Fulham, they hit them with this quick counterattack, led to that first goal.
Interesting.
Newcastle's definitely going to want to, study that match and make some adjustments.
Sure, for sure. And how about Everton making a statement with a decisive 4-0 win over Leicester?
Wow.
I mean, they dominated that match start to finish.
Yeah, their counterattacking was just clinical. They waited for Leicester to overcommit and then, bam, hit them hard and fast on the break. You could just see Everton's confidence grow as the game went on.
Right.
This could be a real turning point for them.
All right, now for the juicy stuff transfer rumors. Word on the street is Marcus Rashford might be heading to Aston Villa on loan.
Really?
And there's a lot of chatter about Chelsea's Ben Chilwell. What's the scoop?
Well, for Rashford, a change of scenery, that might be exactly what he needs to, kind of reignite his career.
Yeah.
Aston Villa could definitely use his attacking power.
Oh, sure.
As for Chilwell, I think his potential departure from Chelsea, it hints at maybe a bigger shift happening within the club.
Okay.
Maybe entering a rebuilding phase, looking to reshape the squad, reestablish their identity.
Interesting. It's like this giant chess game, right?
Yeah.
Each move just having these ripple effects across the whole board.
Exactly. And speaking of high-stakes matches, the Champions League is about to deliver a real clash of the Titans, Manchester City versus Real Madrid.
Ooh.
Get ready for some fireworks.
Oh, I could already feel that anticipation building. Both teams, known for their incredible attacking talent.
For sure.
This is going to be a battle for the ages.
You know what makes it even more interesting? It's the tactical contrast. You've got City known for their possession-based play. It's almost hypnotic.
Right.
They wait patiently for that opening.
Yeah.
Real Madrid, on the other hand, they can be so explosive on the counterattack, punishing any mistake their opponent makes.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be fascinating to see how those two styles clash.
All right, so we've got goals galore transfer drama and a Champions League showdown brewing. But we can't forget about the never-ending VAR saga.
Right.
The recent overturned red card decision for Arsenal's Miles Lewis-Skelly. Well, that's just sparked a whole new wave of debate about consistency and accountability, in the use of VAR.
Yeah, VAR was brought in to eliminate those, clear and obvious errors, but are we relying too much on technology? Where do we draw the line between human judgment and the interpretation of replays?
Right.
It's a tough question,
Yeah.
Easy answers.
Yeah.
And this latest incident, I think it just highlights those challenges we're still facing.
It's like trying to hit a moving target, isn't it?
Yeah.
The technology and the interpretations, they're constantly evolving. But speaking of moving targets, let's shift gears to Bayern Munich's financial dominance. They've reported a mind-blowing 765 million euros in revenue for 2024.
Wow.
That's not just pocket change. What does this mean for their future in the sport?
Bayern, they've built a financial powerhouse, and it's not by accident. They've invested heavily in their youth academy, developing world-class talent from within.
Right.
And when they do spend in the transfer market, it's strategic, it's targeted to fill specific needs.
Yeah.
So they maintain that competitive edge while also ensuring financial stability.
So it's not just about having the money, it's about knowing how to spend it.
Exactly. Bayern's success is a testament to their long-term vision and strategic planning.
Absolutely.
I think Bayern's model, it's definitely something other clubs could learn from,
Yeah.
It's not just about throwing money at big-name players. It's about creating, a sustainable structure for success in the long run.
So it's about more than just, having deep pockets. It's about using your resources wisely.
Yeah.
Speaking of smart moves, let's get back to those transfer rumors. That possibility of Rashford going to Aston Villa, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, imagine Rashford, with a fresh start new manager, a team that's hungry to prove themselves. It could reignite that spark we know he has. And for Villa, adding a player like Rashford, that could seriously boost their attack.
Could be a game changer for both sides. And what about Chelsea? With Chilwell potentially leaving, it makes you wonder, what's their plan?
Right.
Are they rebuilding? Are they just tweaking things?
There's a lot of talk about Chelsea bringing in some new talent, maybe trying to inject some fresh energy into the squad. It's almost like they're working on a puzzle, figuring out which pieces fit to, create that winning combination.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out over the next few months.
Yeah.
But, let's be real. The match that everyone's already buzzing about is that Champions League clash, City and Real Madrid.
Oh, yeah.
It's a dream matchup. Two of the biggest clubs in the world going head-to-head.
It's more than just big names, though.
Right.
Think about the tactical battle. You've got Guardiola, the architect of City's possession-based dominance, going up against Ancelotti, a master of adapting to his opponents and exploiting their weaknesses. It's a real battle of styles, a clash of philosophies.
Wait to see how City's fluidity and precision, how that holds up against Real Madrid's experience and grit.
Right.
It's going to be a real test.
Absolutely. And let's not forget about, the individual battles within the match.
Yeah.
You've got De Bruyne's vision, you passing against the defensive skills of someone like Modric, the speed and trickery of Vinicius Jr. versus the strength of City's backline.
Yeah.
So many exciting matchups to watch.
It can be epic.
Yeah.
But, even with all these incredible matches coming up, that VAR debate just keeps swirling around. That overturned red card for Arsenal's Lewis Skelly, it just highlights, the ongoing struggle to find that balance between technology and human judgment.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Right.
We want to make the right calls, but we also don't want to lose that human element of the game, The flow, the emotion, those split-second decisions that make football so captivating.
Exactly. It's about finding that sweet spot where technology enhances the game without, overshadowing it.
Yeah.
And speaking of things that can overshadow the game, let's talk about fan culture.
Yeah.
We've seen some, unfortunate incidents recently, and it highlights how passion can sometimes, turn into something negative.
It's a reminder that football, for all its beauty and excitement, it can also reflect the challenges we see in society. It's about finding ways to channel that passion into positive support, creating an atmosphere where everyone feels safe and respected.
Absolutely. And that's something we all need to think about. Players, fans, everyone involved. We have a responsibility to create a positive and inclusive space for the sport to thrive. But before we go too deep into that, let's look at some other key matches this week. Real Madrid's facing Espanyol, looking to extend their winning streak, and there's a potentially huge clash between Tottenham and Brentford.
Real Madrid's consistency is impressive. They've got that winning mentality in their DNA, and that Tottenham-Brentford match that could really shake up the league table.
Definitely some exciting matches to watch. But before we jump to part 3, I want to touch on something we haven't really talked about.
Okay.
With all this money pouring into the sport, with the global superstars and, the pressure to win, is there a risk that the essence of football, the pure joy of the game, is getting lost?
That's a great question. And I think it's something we need to be aware of.
Yeah.
The financial stakes are higher than ever. The pressure's immense.
Yeah.
But at its core, football is still about those moments of brilliance, the unexpected twists and turns, the shared passion that unites fans around the world.
It's a balance.
Yeah.
We want the excitement and the drama, the global reach, but we also want to protect, that heart and soul of the game.
Absolutely. And I think that's a responsibility that all of us share, players, coaches, fans, everyone you know, to remember that the core of football is about passion. It's about community, about those moments of magic that, go beyond language and borders.
Well said. And speaking of magic, let's not forget about that other big match coming up. Crystal Palace taking on Manchester United.
Yeah.
Palace, they've been showing some real grit this season.
Yeah, they have.
And United, they're always a force to be reckoned with.
For sure. That's a match that could go either way.
Right.
That's what makes it so exciting. You've got Palace's discipline and resilience up against United's attacking flair and individual talent.
Yeah.
Should be a really interesting contrast of styles.
It really should. Okay, so as we wrap up this epic deep dive, let's bring it all back to that big question you asked earlier. What's the biggest challenge facing football today? We've talked about VAR, financial power, fan culture, even the risk of losing, that essence of the game amidst all the glamour and the money. Where do you stand now, having, explored all these angles?
It's a really complicated question, and honestly, I don't think there's just one answer, But if I had to choose, I'd say the biggest challenge is finding that way to navigate this time of, rapid change without losing sight of what really matters, embracing innovation and progress without sacrificing the integrity, the fairness, the joy.
Yeah.
That's what makes football so beautiful.
Yeah, it's about finding that balance, right? Between the business and the passion, the tech and the human element, the global spectacle and the local communities.
Exactly. And I think the key is to keep having these conversations, to keep challenging those assumptions, to keep pushing for a better future for the sport that we all love.
Couldn't agree more. Well, that wraps up this deep dive. Hopefully we've given you something to think about, some insights to ponder, and maybe even spark some fun debates with your fellow football fans.
And remember, whether you're in the stands cheering or analyzing the tactics from your couch, the most important thing is to keep that passion alive.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's what makes football so special.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. And until next time, keep exploring the beautiful game.